My original plan for this week was to upload music, but I've lost motivation on that, so I figured that I would go over Pokemon teams for each of the characters in TF2, including in the comics. This, unfortunately, does not include the 7th comic, but I might make a separate video on that. Honestly, it just depends, though, if I'm being completely honest. Also, I will be going over what type of trainer each of the mercs and characters would be, how I see fit. I'm not assigning them different characters like N, Hilda, or Guzma. What I mean is ace trainers, gym leaders, team skull grunts, that sort of thing. I will include Pokemon from Gens 1 through 8, and I am excluding Gen 9 because I know next to nothing about Gen 9, and I don't care for Gen 9 either. I have my reasons, which will likely be in another video. Anyway, this is... Before I get started, I do wish to say that this will be sort of on the longer type video, so if you do wish to get things out like a drawing tablet, draw, or play a game as you listen, be my guest. I will have timestamps placed below so you can sort of skip around as you please. If you have suggestions or changes you would like to make, go right ahead, comment down below. I would prefer the Pokemon to be from Gens 1 through 8 because, well, I hate Gen 9. There, I said it. That's my reason. I don't think it feels like Pokemon anymore, I'm sorry. It just feels so oversaturated and more like Digimon, if anything. They just suck. For this, I will also be going in order of TF2 class, and then I will be going over side characters and comic characters. Also, not everyone will have 6 Pokemon in their party. Some will have 2, some will have 3, some will even have 1, some will have a full party. So without further ado, let's get started with the trainer types. So for Scout, I put Scout as an ace trainer or an athlete. I feel like this is fitting for Scout, considering the fact that, well, he seems like the more athletic type, and, well, because he is, he's fast, so... For Soldier, I put Soldier as a veteran/commander. Soldier literally just screams every single sentence, so I feel like this would have been fitting. Also because, well, his lore says that, well, he literally went to Germany and blew people up in the 1940s, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pyro, I put Pyro as a firefighter/fire breather. I felt like the fire breather would be a little more fitting here, considering the fact that Pyro is literally just a pyromaniac. Demoman, I put Demoman as a rival. I couldn't really think of anything else that would really fit Demoman, but I feel like he would definitely be the more chill type of rival, if anything. Heavy would be a cook. It sort of just works out since Heavy has a sandwich as one of his weapons. You know, he also has the chocolate bar. He even has a cooking taunt and a lot of like food related weapons and taunts, so I feel like the cook sort of makes sense for him. Engineer, well, he gets the engineer. Well, no craft. Do I really need to explain this? Do I seriously need to? Medic would be a nurse/doctor. I mean, he would probably either heal your Pokemon or completely turn them into some creepypasta type crap. Sniper would be a backpacker/camper. He does have a few taunts that are related to camping and also has a few backpack looking cosmetics and weapons, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Spy would be a gentleman.
Gentlemen?
Do I need to say more? Do I really need to elaborate? Do I seriously need to say anything else? The Administrator, Redmond, Bluetarch, and Gray, I have put them all as Elite Four members. And now, I actually have a little bit of backstory for these 4. I feel like because they have that sort of rivalry against each other, and because it's like, I feel like they would all 4 be Elite Four members, and sort of argue over each other and be fighting constantly. And I feel like there would be some sort of intense beef between the 4, so that's a thing. Saxton, I put him as a gym leader because it sort of feels needed. I mean, with his Pokemon, and we'll get into that later. For Olivia, I put her as a Pokegirl. Well, I mean, she's a little kid in the comics, it would make sense for her to be a Pokegirl. Merasmus, a Hex Maniac. I mean, he's a wizard, so it makes sense. Do I need to elaborate? Do I need to explain that one? And Zepheniah, Champion. Again, do I need to explain? Do I really need to elaborate for this? I feel like this makes sense for the Team Fortress universe especially. So, and also, bonuses, I included myself because I'm a little dimwit who likes including himself into things. So I decided to put myself as a sort of like a dancer type gym leader because only I have a say on what I would be, but if you do have suggestions, please let me know in the comments. So let's get right into the Pokemon. Now, this is sort of where you can skip around if you would feel needed. Again, I already have put the intro and the other stuff, so yeah. We're gonna dive right into Scout. Scout, I feel like, would have a Cinderace, Marowak, and a Pikachu. Cinderace because, well, Speedy Bonnie, sporty type of Pokemon. I feel like it's literally right down Scout's alleyway. It just makes sense. Marowak because, well, he has a bone club similar to the Bonk Bat. I feel like the two would sort of do the taunt together. I feel like that would be cute. And Pikachu because just look at the bond between Ash and his Pikachu. I feel like Scout would probably have that same sort of bond with his Pikachu. Also, I feel like Cinderace would be Scout's little buddy Pokemon. I think I want to do like buddy Pokemon for each of the Mercs as well, and the characters because, well, I feel like it would make sense and feel illegal not to. For Soldier, I have Blastoise, Braviary, Turtonator, and Blacephalon. Blastoise because, well, tank turtle, it sort of makes sense for Soldier to have a literal tank as a Pokemon. Braviary because Braviary screams patriotism. What the frick is a kilometer? Turtonator, duh. Explosion attacks. Blacephalon, I added this strictly because not only the 4th of July, but because this thing is literally a firework dispenser. Pyro actually, I think, has a full team. Pyro, I would give a Galarian Ponyta, Mew, Sylveon, Yamper, and Lyn. No, I think that's 5 Pokemon. Yeah, that's 5 Pokemon. So, Galarian Ponyta because, well, it makes sense for one and for another. Just look at the Lunicorn and come back to me when you realize Pyro would definitely have this thing. Mew because Pyro loves cats, if I recall correctly. Also, I sense Pyro would love anything that they deem as, well, duh, cute. Sylveon, again, with the cuteness. Pyro would love having a Sylveon. Yamper, in reference to the ending of Expiration Date. And also, just look at the comics. Pyro literally adopts and raises a Dalmatian pup into a fully grown dog. Plus, again, the ending of Expiration Date. Litten, again, I feel like Pyro would have a thing for cats and anything cute. And this is literally a fire cat, so I feel like that makes sense. Demoman would have a Turtonator, Execute, Victory Bell, and a Blastoise. Turtonator because, well, the Explosion Turtle, plus it can literally learn Explosion, which, on par with Demoman, the explosions. Execute because, no shit, it's literally exploding eggs. Blastoise because cannons on its back, which sort of remind me of the loose cannon. And Victory Bell, I actually have a bit of a story behind this choice. So I feel like Demo would have found his Victory Bell as a Bellsprout that was lost and abandoned by its former trainer. Demo would have gone on to take care of the little guy, and it would grow literally attached to Demo to the point where he ends up capturing it. It would end up evolving because it wanted to protect Demoman from an oncoming attack from some of Gray's Pokemon. Heavy, I have Blastoise, Morpeko, and Chespin. Blastoise because, well, it's fitting because of the one taunt. I think that would be the one military taunt, if I'm recalling correctly. I think it's because Heavy's in, like, some sort of Jeep or something. I think. Comment below if I'm thinking of the right taunt. Morpeko because, specifically the hangry mode, it just seems fitting because of Heavy's love of sandwiches. And Chespin because, well, love of food like Clement's Chespin. Engineer, I have down that he would have a Clink, Plusle, Minun, and an Excadrill. Clink because every engineer literally needs to have some sort of gear type Pokemon because, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Plusle and Minun because he would use the two to sort of help with his sentries, dispensers, and teleporters. And Excadrill, I feel like Excadrill just sort of seems fitting, especially when you look at the typing and who Engineer is as a person. Also, I want to put Excadrill as Engineer's main Pokemon, as his buddy Pokemon. Oh boy. Medic. I have down Audino, Chansey, Clefable, Wigglytuff? Yeah, Wigglytuff. Bayonet, and Pidove. Audino, every nurse seems to have this Pokemon. Chansey, every nurse seems to have this Pokemon. Clefable, every nurse seems to have this Pokemon. Wigglytuff, every nurse seems to have this Pokemon. What is with these nurses and having all these weird Pokemon? What the flip? And why are they all pink? What is this? Bayonet, well, fitting for Medic, because Bayonet is often portrayed as a more so insane Pokemon, primarily due to its backstory. Not just because of that, but because Bayonet literally steals the souls of people, much how Medic literally has his fellow friend's souls fused with his own soul. There were other Pokemon that honestly did seem fitting, like Litwick and Drifloon, but I felt Bayonet was the most fitting. Pidove, it's a freaking dove. Medic loves his doves. Why not? For Sniper, I only have put down a Sceptile. This is literally the only Pokemon I sense Sniper would have, strictly because Sniper may not be too fond of Pokemon apart from his own Pokemon and maybe his friends. Yeah, that is literally all I have for Sniper. I am sorry, Sniper fans. Spy, I already did a video on this. I don't really think I have to go over Spy again. The Administrator I have down, Persian, Purloin, and Meowstic. Honestly, these three just seem very fitting for the Administrator, considering the fact that 1, they're all, well, cat Pokemon, and 2, she reminds me a little bit of the Team Rocket main guy, I forget his name, but yeah, she just gives similar vibes to him, so I sort of made a similar party, or what I feel like, just, yeah. Saxton Hale, oh god. You guys saw this coming from when I said that he would be a gym leader. He would have a Hitmonchan, Machamp, and Buzzwole. Do you guys see a pattern? They're all freaking buff Pokemon. Look at Saxton Hale for a moment. Get a nice good look at him. You notice anything about his Pokemon and him? They're all buff. They're all just there. Yeah. Miss Pauling, I feel like would have a Lopunny, Bellossom, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Minccino. There's probably gonna be a whole bunch of angry Pokefans at me, and I'm sorry. Lopunny because I feel like, well, it honestly just screams Miss Pauling, gives Miss Pauling energy. Bellossom because, well, I feel like every girl has to have some sort of flower Pokemon. And Minccino because, well, I mean, sort of fitting, maybe. So, I'm gonna be going over the Mann brothers all in one. And then I'm going to give you guys the theme. Because they each have themes. And it's based around something. And I want to see if you guys can catch on to it. So, Redmond would have a Charizard, Flareon, Growlithe, Gyarados, specifically a shiny one, Kingler, and Seeking. Bluetarch would have a Gyarados, just a normal one, Nidorina, Vaporeon, Sylveon, shiny, Seadra, and a Wooper. Greyman would have a Clink, Steelix, Donphan, I think that's how you pronounce it, Eevee, shiny, Minccino, and Esper. You catch on to it yet? They're all Pokemon that are colors of their name. Redmond has red Pokemon, Bluetarch has blue Pokemon, and Grey has gray Pokemon. Yeah, let me know if you guys got that in the comments below. So, moving on to Olivia. I decided to put her Pokemon as Flabebe, Put Pokemon on screen. I'm probably putting the Pokemon on the screen anyway, but just put it on the screen. Happiny, Smoliv. I think this is the only newer type gen Pokemon that I have on here for her. Larvitar and Roserade. I feel like these are fitting, especially for a little girl. And especially because most of, if not all of them, are baby Pokemon. And because, well, duh, she's a little girl in the comic. She's like, what, 8? 8 before the 7th comic? Because in the 7th comic, she's 14. So, fitting. Merasmus would have a Mr. Mime, Blacephalon, Ducklet, Pumpkaboo, Bayonet, and Miss Magius. Mr. Mime, I feel like would be fitting because, well, duh. Sort of radiates, sort of like Halloween vibes, and Merasmus sort of comes out, you know, Halloween time. Blacephalon, because it's a ghost type. Merasmus screams ghost types. Ducklet, well, I had to because bonus ducks. Pumpkaboo, because, well, it sort of fits his personality. Bayonet, because this would so be his Pokemon partner, let's be real. And Miss Magius, because, well, it's a witch, and he's a wizard, so it makes sense. No crap. Zepheniah, out of the entire list that I put, I feel like the only two that would make sense, no, the only 4 that would make sense is Sableye, Kleki, Meowth, and Carbink. And you know what? All 4 of them are shiny. Because I was a little cretin and decided to make all of them shiny. Because, well, I don't know why. And then my Pokemon team would be the team that everybody, I think, would have expected out of me. Let's be real, you guys saw it's coming from a mile away. Sableye, Catturn, Executor, Alolan, Gengar, Porygon Z, and Rotom. Notice anything? Oh, would you look at that? Vaporwave theme. Did I just do a Vaporwave theme for myself? Yes. So, I literally did not have an outro planned. So, subscribe, I guess, like the video. I don't know, apparently the like button's supposed to glow, so smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Did it do the thing? Let me know if it did the thing in the comments, please. If you made it this far, comment Sharpedo. And let me know you guys' favorite Pokemon down below. Also, give me you guys' suggestions down below, because genuinely, I want to know what you guys think. So, yeah, subscribe.